many of you have read Kyoto Journal, you might have read some articles or stories by a guy named Bob Brady.
Bob has a sort of imposing presence. He has long white hair. He speaks with kind of a drawl, and he presents stories way better than I could. The reason I'm doing this is he and I have been working on a book. I've been editing his book. He had, for a long time, has had a blog called Pure Land Mountain, and it's very diverse. A lot of observations on things going on in his neck of the woods, which is out in Shiga. It's on the slopes of Mount Horai, overlooking Biwa. We found that there were themes coming through in what he was writing that he wasn't even aware of. And we're working on this book. It's called The Big Elsewhere. And I guess you could say that the big elsewhere is where the stories come from. It's a place of observation, kind of knowledge of some things that you know, but you didn't know that you knew. Kind of thing. Okay. I was going to say, I've known Bob Brady 30 years. The only person here that I've known longer is Divyam. Divyam and I were in the same Japanese summer intensive at Karajuku in 1983. They asked those questions like, why did you come to Japan? My friend Jen says, I came to climb Mount Fuji. The teacher says, Divyam, why did you come to Japan? He said, I came to spend time with Fuji-san's wife. Okay, back to the story. Bob Brady, last year in summer, was working in his loft one afternoon, started to feel some numbness, and fortunately was able to get to the phone before he had a stroke. Called the emergency number. The operator not only knew who he was, but where he was, and they picked him up. He said he was on a Comet at the time. He's done a lot of rehab. He is now signing himself in emails Bob Astaire. He has a cane which he wields very skillfully, and he's doing really well. He was affected by it in his right arm, right leg. Mentally, absolutely as clear as ever. So we're working on this book. It's going to be published probably towards the end of next month. So I'd like to just share a few pieces that I think are relevant. We were just talking about heaven. Okay, this is called Brief Trips to Heaven. Within splendid lakeside breezes, among famed black pines, I watch hawks catch fish too big for them. Then watch them react, much the way humans often do with big ideas. Can't regain the elevation, the effort is too much, and they have to drop the fish. One such hawk flew close overhead, and I could see that the fish looked amazed. It hung there, stock still, in the awe that comes with extreme experience. Then the fish was dropped back into his world, and said to his schoolmates, "You're not going to believe this, but there's another world above this one." They took him at his word, or so it appeared, because after that, it seemed like a lot more fish were being caught and dropped. Before I let go of this idea, by a rough count, I'd surmise that the hawks and the fish have a deal going. One meal for every 5 rides into heaven. We'll skip one. But here's a haiku that almost covers it. Some mornings I break out into song. A bird started. Bob lived here in Kyoto for quite a few years. We go back to starting Kyoto Journal as original founding editors among that group. 20 years ago he moved out to Horai and has been focused on what he experiences there. Okay, Plum Tree Oratorium. At evening, the plum tree, green as it is, in the fullness of its being, rich with new leaves and laden with ripening fruit, spreading out its limbs in verdant splendour beneath this breadth of sky, can do no more for today than begin to sing. Sing at growing volume with all the tree frogs at its command that live in its branches, and in this way, as in others, pay rent. All day long, the tree stands as silently as trees do, apart from occasional whispers of conspiracy with the passing air, when abruptly and for no discernible reason, other than some deep vegetative joy, the tree begins to sing in a sort of froggy obligato, back and forth from leaf to leaf, growing a cappella volume until the overall tree is enticingly loud to one who happens to be seated in its shade, sipping some chilled wine, and is tempted to join in, using one's best chirping basso, at which point the tree falls embarrassingly silent. Note to self: if you're not a frog yet, shut up and listen. I can read this like God would. Okay, the third branch. We had this little bit about evolution just now. When the early monkeys reached that specific evolutionary fork on the big old tree of life and looked forward along the left branch, they saw strange things up ahead, like more intelligence, proto-conscience, all vague and misty, and said, whoa, let's not go that way. But they had their reasons. So they chose the other branch. They took the path more travelled and got to the upper canopy where they are now, which isn't bad actually, mostly in the tropics. Then, when our own four simians came to the same fork, they looked to the right branch and saw all those monkeys jammed up ahead and said, damn, that way's too crowded, give me some space. So they headed left into all that shifting civiloplasm where they still had some room to think, and did. And here we all are with a complex regimen of thought plasma that fills up our time. So it happens that now and then, when I pause in my work of tilling and planting to grow some of my own food on my mortgaged soil, or at patching up my withering residence, I watch the monkeys ambling houseless past my garden through the food-laden forest, or sitting in the arms of a tree, comfy munching on a natural snack that many humans say God has provided. And I think about the monkey's choice way back then, which, since now they can go nearly anywhere, anytime, 9 to 5, no visas, mortgages, suits, appliances, or infidels. If I was back at that Evo fork right now on behalf of all humanity, still muddling along up ahead somewhere on that time pike, I think I'd check to see whether maybe there was a third branch we might have overlooked. You never know. Might as well think about it, since we wound up being able to. One more about monkeys. Monkeys are a fact of life in Shiga. Monkeys observe Brady splitting firewood. While I was splitting oak as the day headed for noon, every now and then I'd hear a loud thrash in the bamboo down mountain east of the house. I'd look, expecting to see some large animal come blundering out, but saw nothing. Figured it must be an unusually clumsy wild pig forcing its way through the bamboo. Unlikely to be a bear. Went back to splitting, then the noise, and again. Finally, I saw a monkey silhouette rise up into the higher foliage, then another and another. A whole tribe of them had gone through the bamboo to get to the tall trees at the centre of that grove, apparently to loaf at their ease in the sunny breeze amidst the ample edibles there, a sort of simian grandstand, while observing yours truly doing something that monkeys never did in all their history until one of them took an intelligent leap sideways and became the first of us all, eons ago, which led to me in this particular instance. So there we were, the self-styled Homo sapiens with axe, and the unstyled, toolless monkeys together on the mountain for a few moments of special interchange. The latter chattering away at their leisure in their tree-armed easy chairs as I sawed and lugged, split, chopped and sweated. After observing my strange activities in silence for a few moments, the lesser monkeys asked the alpha male, I'm translating here, "What the hell is he doing?" Alpha responded, "Looks like he's breaking up those big trees into little pieces for another one of those pointless reasons the walkers have. Hand me a couple of those berries." Breaking up trees? He doesn't look angry. So is that the same guy who was doing this yesterday? How come he's blue today? He was brown yesterday. He can change his skin. Why? Who knows with walkers? He's the guy who used to grow onions. Now he's breaking trees into sticks. Who can explain what walkers do? Yeah, more berries. Must have some influence though. He's got all those trees to lay down like that. Male number 8, check out his garden. Wife number 4, give me some nuts. Number 8 tries to sneak into the garden on the south side of the house. At once I race for my supply of AMBMs, that's anti-Monkai ballistic missiles, known in peacetime as rocks. Loud screeching from the trees. 8, he sees you! Get out of there fast! I've only planted radishes, spinach, lettuce and ginger so far, none of which monkeys like. And the tomato plants are still small, so there's nothing for 8 to find anyway. Still, it's good to fire away at the neophytes, teach them that entering my garden is a matter of risk. 8 returns hastily to the tribe in the trees, nibbles on a stick as he listens to Alpha pontificate. Essentially unknowable creatures, those walkers. Grow stuff we don't want. I'll never figure them out. Who else would grow spinach one day, then spend day after day in this heat breaking trees into small pieces, then just stacking them up? Wood's not food. It's beyond grasp, if you ask me. More berries. Some of those tasty buds too. Now, this is the life. I can't imagine why there's a want to be walkers. Sure can't be fun. Look at that guy sweat. Thank you very much. Okay, Charles?